Slamdown is sponsored by BODYSLAM and Jam and WWE Smack Talks. Welcome to another episode of Slamdown. Today we're going to be covering everything Raw. So let's get on with the show. At the start of Raw, we saw the New Day defending the tag team titles. If they managed to keep hold of the titles by the end of the show, they would have been beating Demolition's record. Hang on. There we go. They'll be beating Demolition's record of how long to hold the tag team titles. Now, before I talk more about what happened through the show, to me, I don't really like the idea of New Day beating that reign. Yes, I get they're a good tag team, but what bothers me is they play the team as a face, but they do a lot of heelish stuff. You know, they seem to scrape their victories by the third person who's at ringside getting involved. Now, if you're going to do those type of things, then you make the team a heel. You don't see a face do that. It bothers me quite a lot, to be honest. I don't feel they're at the caliber to beat Demolition's record, but that's my personal opinion. But anyway, they were defending the title against Cesaro and Shameless and Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson. It was quite a good match. If I had to give it a rating, it was, for me, a 2 out of 5. I'm not really a big fan of Raw at the moment because I think Raw could be a lot better. You know, it's bad storylines, bad booking, and there's slight favouritism. You know, you have Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson, which was an amazing tag team in New Japan, but you decide to make them more comedy and they don't get any push in any way. I just don't understand that. It's like splitting up the club. I just do not understand why they would do that when they've got such a cult following and a very vast popularity. But New Day got the win with, as you guessed it, the third person of New Day interfering, holding Cesaro's legs so he couldn't break up the pin, and it's getting annoying. But the New Day got the victory, and to me, it still feels like they're burying Luke and Carl. It's sad to see, but it's how I'm feeling with the way things are going. I'd rather see Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson jump over to SmackDown. After that, we saw Braun Strowman taking on Curtis Axel. Now, I know Kurt Axel, people find him a bit 50-50. You know, I think, me personally, I think Kurt Axel could be a brilliant wrestler if used correctly. It seems like the WWE don't really use people correctly. And I know there's probably a lot of people out there that's going to disagree with this statement, but if you think about the people that have left the WWE, you know, like EC3, Eli Drake, that was Shawn Ryder, Drew McIntyre, who's now Drew Galloway, you know, they've completely reinvented themselves and become better than what they were in the WWE. Look at Cody Rhodes now. You know, they made him into a laughing stock with the Stardust gimmick. He leaves the company, he drops that gimmick, he goes back to being Cody, and now he's a member of the Bullet Club. You know, it's a bit like the way TNA is. It's everything around it's poor. But with least with TNA, the match qualities are brilliant. You know, this is why I do hope Triple H does take over. And you know, you look at the product NXT itself is an amazing product, and I feel he needs to be running the WWE because he would make vast improvements, and it would be a lot better than what it is now. But we saw Braun Strowman defeat Kurt Axel, which is not surprising. You know, Braun Strowman being the bigger guy, the tougher guy, you know, you knew it was going to go that way. We also saw Sami Zayn and Mick Foley, where Sami Zayn saying he wants Braun Strowman, with Mick Foley refusing to give him the match. And Sami Zayn says he would rather not be on Raw if Foley wouldn't give him the opportunity. But then the Hardcore Legend agrees to call SmackDown Daniel Bryan and work out a trade. After that, we had, I'm just calling him Daivari. Daivari in a match against Dorado. Is it Lince Dorado? I'm not good at pronouncing the Mexican wrestlers' names. But that they were having a match, and Jack Gallagher interfered. But he did it a bit differently. He stood on the stage and said, I'm just to let you know that I'm going to be interfering in the match, doing it sort of like the gentleman way. And then he did what he says. He interfered into the match, which I think is possibly leading to a match at 205. After that, we had the Brian, was it the Brian Kendrick. You know, he used to be the Brian, you know, it changes so much. Where Kendrick taking on TJ Perkins. It was an okay match, but I felt Perkins was held back a little. You know, we've seen what he's capable of in the ring, and it just seems like they're sort of, no, we'll push him down a bit, give Kendrick the nod. Which I don't understand, because Perkins is a fantastic wrestler. We've seen it in the CWC. We've seen it at the start of Raw, and now it seems like, no, we're going to make him look weak now. Can't get my head around it. Oh, yeah, the Braun Strowman and Kurt Axel match, that was just a 1 star out of 5. But anyway, so with that cruiserweight being like that, 2 out of 5. It was really, the match qualities have been really poor. You know, next we had Bayley against Alicia Fox again. I know it's the only second time, but you know, there's plenty of other women on the roster. Do something with Bayley. Bayley got the victory, 2 out of 5 again. Then we saw Big Cass confront Rusev over what Rusev and Lana did to Enzo Amore last week, where Lana made him get into his boxers, or if you're American, briefs, and was attacked by Rusev, and then thrown out of the hotel room, laying on the floor, knocked out with wearing a pair of boxers. Because of all of that, Big Cass confronted Rusev. Big Cass thundered down to the ring in defence of his best friend, and just left a load of cumbering blows to the body. The super athlete got 1 or 2 strikes in of his own and was finally able to escape. But that's also leading to a match at Roadblock, which is Raw's pay-per-view. We saw Sami Zayn taking on Jinder Mahal, and I'm guessing Mahal's just one of their jobbers. I know it's not really the right term to use, jobbers, but yeah, he's never really done anything since he's been back in the WWE. But we saw Zayn get the victory, another 1 star out of 5. It was poor, to be honest. But we also saw Mick Foley come down and said he's agreed a trade with SmackDown, and he's going to be traded for Eva Marie. At that point, Zayn blew, and for the way he's being treated for a superstar. The underdog from the underground got so furious he put his hands on the Foley legend and unwittingly played right into Foley's hands. Where Foley went, you see, that was never a trade, and shows the piece of paper that had nothing on it, and said he's basically fired. Zayn had the fire to survive the gift of destruction. So basically that was all just to fire Sami Zayn up, to really get him amped up. But he'll be facing Ron Strowman and Roadblock, with a stipulation where Sami Zayn must survive for 10 minutes. We saw an altercation backstage where New Day were celebrating their victory and that they were going to beat Demolition Record. Champagne got squirted all over Stephanie McMahon, which saw her lose her temper and go out the room. But before she headed into her locker room, Kevin Owens was outside there and says, "I've got an idea for you." So we see Stephanie go off, and then it ends there. At some point in the show, I'm not going to say where part of the show, because I'll just read through the matches mainly and just sometimes talk about some of the promo stuff. We saw Kevin Owens come down for the Rollins report, where he announced that he had to make a special announcement, and where Seth Rollins kept asking him how his friendship with Jericho, and then Kevin Owens banks him and says that him and Jericho will be going against the New Day for the Tag Team Championships. And after all that, later on, Mick Foley tells Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns that they'll be in the match, making it a 3-way again. So you're having the same match that you had at the start of the show at the end of the show. Right, okay, but okay. Again, the match was 2 stars, and then we saw New Day managed to trick their way to win again. But we did see Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho have a big falling out again, and Chris Jericho says friendship's over. That's mainly it for Raw. It was quite a poor show, to be honest. It's lackluster. Some matches I fast forward because I just found it dreary. But one thing I will do, as it's going to be Raw's pay-per-view, I'm going to quickly go over some of the Roadblock matches, which I'm just quickly loading them up now, because it is going to be called Roadblock, but it's going to, by the slogan tag end of the line, I'm guessing a lot of the matches are going to be, not the matches, sorry, a lot of the rivalries will be the end. On the kickoff show, it's Big Cass and Rusev. My prediction for that, I think it's going to be Big Cass that gets the victory, because Vince does like Big Cass at the minute, and I think he's going to get more of a singles push. Sami Zayn versus Braun Strowman. I think Strowman's got this. Then we've got the Cruiserweight Champion Rick Swann taking on TJ Perkins and Kendrick. I reckon it's going to be Kendrick for the win. Or Swann. From the way they used TJ Perkins on Raw, I don't think he's going to get the victory, to be honest. Seth Rollins versus Chris Jericho. It's got to be Seth Rollins. It's got to be. Raw Women's Champion Sasha Banks versus Charlotte Flair in a 30-minute Iron Man match. I've got to say it's going to be Charlotte, because I don't think they want her to lose at a pay-per-view. I think they're trying to make a record for her not losing at a certain amount of pay-per-views. But I could be wrong. They could give Sasha Banks the nod, but it's a match I'm not really that interested in, because I've seen it so many times. And we've got Kevin Owens versus Roman Reigns. Now, I am going to say Kevin Owens because I do not want to see Roman Reigns win that title. I don't think he deserves to be US champion and WWE champion. Sorry, Universal champion. It's ridiculous to me, to be honest. It's the fans are not buying the character. People are not enjoying watching Roman Reigns. You know, why are you still trying to make him the face? You know, putting him with Rollins is not going to do anything for Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns now needs to be flipped heel. He's booed at every show, every time. I can't get my head around it, to be honest. I really can't. But that's creative for you. We are back on air tomorrow with talking about the SmackDown results. And then after that, actually, after SmackDowns tomorrow, we will be on again on Friday at 12 p.m. with Lucha Underground Talk, presented by Keegan and Shay, where they'll be covering 2 shows of Lucha Underground and giving their opinion and reviews. And that's on a Friday, and I will be back tomorrow with SmackDown Talk. I want to say a big thank you to everybody listening. If you've got a different view of Raw, please leave it in the comments. I do reply to every comment, or you can even tweet us at SlamDownLive. So, I'll speak to you all again tomorrow. See you later.